Yeah, this is Frank DeMore with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, getting into some news for today. As you see from my posting, it's actually September the 19th of 2012. And today I give you a lot of information about what's going on in the Middle East. And of course, you'll see, if you're new to my site, you'll see this little picture here. It says Note from Frank, and this is where I give you a little bit of my input about what's taking place in the article. But I want to scroll down to some news that I did not cover. I wanted to make a video of this because I found it pretty interesting. And let me get there right now. And this is a news article. In the headline, as you can see here, headline, Iran to copy Operation Starfish to knock out the USA. Now, what is this article about? Let me go right to it, and you'll see it here. It says, one single Iranian nuclear explosion 400 kilometers above Lexington in Kentucky will be able to knock down the American nation. And this is a picture. As you can see here, it says the night sky over Honolulu, which was on fire on July 9th in 1962. This is pretty interesting. It says not many people remember Operation Starfish that was triggered on July of 9th, 1962. What was this military operation all about? The USA sent a rocket into space with a nuclear warhead 80 times more powerful than Hiroshima bomb. And the Doomsday tool was detonated 400 kilometers above Earth, 1,445 kilometers west of Hawaii. It says the effect of the detonation deep into space shocked the American generals. The effects could be measured as far as New Zealand. In Hawaii, street lights went off and electric devices stopped functioning. What the U.S. had done was to put the electromagnetic field over the Pacific Ocean on fire. Here's another one of the pictures that were taken back during that time that it was set off. It says the long-term effects of the electromagnetic fireball in space became more devastating than the total destruction such a bomb could have created on a relatively small area of the ground. In the split of a second, 3 U.S. satellites in low orbit were disabled. TV sets in Hawaii and the Pacific Ocean went into black, and the telecommunications went dead. 7 satellites failed over the months following the test as radiation damaged their solar arrays and electronics. These man-made radiation belt eventually crippled 1/3 of all the satellites in the low Earth orbit. The very Van Allen belt was disrupted and took time to come back into balance. And since 1962, cancer on Earth has developed into the greatest pandemic ever. And you can read more about this from the multiple sources on the net. Where does this leave the Islamic Republic of Iran, who is hell-bent on destroying both, there you go, Israel and America for the sake of Allah? They just have to try to copy this explosion in deep space over Central America. Today, America would be completely blinded if the powerful electromagnetic pulses had knocked out electronic devices. Because unlike 1962, today's society is completely interconnected. America, as we know today, would not only stop functioning, it will most likely never be able to recover. And the perfect place for an all-out onslaught of a global jihad. And the Iranian Ayatollah do not have to fire a ballistic missile on the U.S. He just has to send up a claimed to be commercial satellite, which they are talking about producing now, and put into the high altitude over the Western Hemisphere. The nuclear program in Iran is, of course, only for peaceful purposes. Yeah, right. And there will surely be one nuclear device inside a peaceful satellite. Only God of the Bible knows how advanced their programs are. So here you have a situation where We believe that the United States is very aware of it. Israel is very aware of it. And this is one of the reasons why they want to knock out Iran's nuclear program now. And this may be one of the reasons why that we're seeing Israel move those troops, as I mentioned earlier in my post today. So let me go now. I want to show you, take you to a video, and go back to my website here for a second. And scroll down, because what we are seeing in the news, talking about this nuclear detonation, 400 kilometers over the Pacific, that would affect the United States. This is who knows? Maybe Hollywood is privy to what is really going to happen. Or it could be that they're even basing on what Iran is saying. Only God knows. But we have a new program that came out that shows us what America is going to look like as described in this headline that we just got through reading, Operation Starfish. So let's take a look. You've probably seen this already, but maybe you haven't made the connection.
What is going on? We don't have much time. Benjamin, where have you been? It's all gonna turn off. What? It's gonna turn off and it will never, ever turn back on. What's gonna turn off? What are you talking about? Everything. Did I lose you? Miles. Electricity for everything, even to grow food and pump water. But after the blackout, nothing worked. Not even car engines or jet turbines. Hell, even batteries. All of it gone forever. Governments fell. Militias and generals and warlords rose up. So, what the hell happened? Take it. Don't let anybody know that you have it. If anything happens to me, just keep it safe.
All right, so you get the general idea there, that there would be definite chaos in America. And if America went down, just think of the chaos that it would cause around the world financially. Not just militarily, but financially, because America is the nation that's buying the products from these other nations. So you would see not only a military problem with the United States, but the financial problem of the United States would make its arms, its tentacles throughout the world, and it would cause a major, major catastrophe, a crisis like the world has never seen before. And obviously, we know from the book of Revelation that in the Revelation, we know that one man will rise. This man will be the Antichrist, and he is going to put, or seem to put, everything back together. So a nuclear explosion that actually is not detonated on the ground, you can see how Iran is working toward getting this bomb, because Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran, knows that, or at least he believes, as I've shown you many, many times in the articles, that he believes that he was chosen by Allah or Muhammad to bring on chaos that will destroy Israel and the United States. So it's something very, very important that we should be watching. And this is one of the reasons why I believe that we're seeing the troop movements that are taking place right now. As I'm going to scroll up here for a second, but you see the exercises that were taking place. And as I mentioned earlier in this report today, that there are some things that just don't jive. And they're saying that this was a planned exercise, but we know if you've been studying Israel, I've been over to Israel. I went over there and visited for 10 days. Israel is more or less a secular nation. And they're not a nation where most people think that it's very, very holy. And most of the people who live in Israel don't even believe or don't have faith in God. It's a secular nation. Of course, you have the Hasidic Jews. They're very, very close as far as religious. But we believe that we're seeing now that why are they moving the military troops in to pray? You see busloads of IDF soldiers that are going to pray. Now, as I mentioned earlier today, you don't see this if you're just drilling. I mean, it would be, to the military, it'd be a waste of time to shuttle people to pray at the Wailing Wall when they could actually be out in the field. If it was a real drill, they would be practicing the drilling. They wouldn't be praying. So that just tells me, as I mentioned earlier today, that it's not just a drill. They're preparing for war. And I believe that Israel will probably hit Iran. They're expecting a response. And as I mentioned also today, that response will be coming as a retaliation in part, and it will fulfill Psalm 83. At this point, that's what it looks like. So what we see in the news is definitely running parallel to what we see happening in Bible prophecy. And of course, you see Damascus. Damascus is in turmoil. Damascus, they're closing in on Bashar al-Assad's power base. And in the news today, they were talking about chemical weapons, using the chemical weapons against not only their own people, but also against the Israelis. And if this were to happen, it would definitely launch a war against not only Syria, but the Hezbollah, which I also gave you some information today about it. So there's a lot in the news to watch, and a lot to watch continuously to see what happens in the Middle East. But this is a major deal, and if Ayatollah Khamenei or the president of Iran were to get hold of this nuclear capability and to launch a satellite, he would no doubt, thinking that he's an instrument of Allah, Muhammad, that he is going to use this on America to bring down, and you will see the same results as this movie depicts. So something's going to happen. And this could also account, now we do know from the Ezekiel war, and I'm going to end it here, we know from Scripture, let me get up here if I will, in Ezekiel chapter 38, here's all the nations that are going to be participating against Israel. Now in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, you'll see that it says that the young lions of Tarshish, all they do is they give a formal protest. Now, the young lions are the break-off of Great Britain, who is Tarshish of the Old Testament. So you have the United States, Canada, and Australia, which are over in the Middle East right now, and they were aligned together and fighting the terrorists. So just think about this. If you had a detonation that wiped out the electricity in the United States, who was based in Israel at the time of this Ezekiel war, they wouldn't have the capability to do anything. First of all, they don't have enough troops to fight 70 or 80 million Muslim people who will be coming down against Israel during this war. Now, if there wasn't a launch of a satellite over the United States and it knocked out the United States' power base, how would they replenish the arms in the Middle East? They wouldn't be able to do it. And so the United States would be sitting there idle, not be able to help themselves or to help Israel. So it appears that these things are gelling together. Only God knows the outcome, but we do know there's a lot going on in the Middle East right now in relation to Israel, exactly what the Lord points to, so we need to keep on the watch. So thank you everybody for coming, allowing me to give you this news and allowing you to keep watch, hopefully connecting the dots for you so that you can understand clearly what's going on in the Middle East and how it may affect our lives. But here's the bottom line to this. We need Christ as our Savior. And if those of you who haven't received Christ yet haven't, I would recommend that you do it now, because the news that we're witnessing shows us that the Lord will be coming back soon. God bless.